Is making six figures a year enough for you to actually survive and live a good life? That's the conversation that I've been seeing going on around social media, especially over the past few months. There's a lot of people talking about how making six figures a year. And when we talk about six figures, let's be clear here. We're talking about $100,000. That's the number that a lot of people are striving to hit when we start talking about making six figures every single year. And it doesn't matter where you live, right? New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, any of the major metropolitan areas that are higher, that have a higher cost of living, it's still the same. The average salary in the US is around $60,000 to $62,000 a year. And it includes people that live in those metropolitan areas. So when we hear people talk about making six figures not being enough money, I often wonder what's their perspective? Why do they think that? So in today's video, I'm just going to go through some of the reasons why I believe that people think that making six figures a year or $100,000 is just enough to get by. And the first reason is I think the perception of what you can actually do and the life that you can live when you start making $100,000 a year is completely skewed. I think that people believe once they start making $100,000 a year, they could take trips, they can go out, whether that's the Ruth Chris, whether that's STK, these expensive dinners and vacations, and live this lavish lifestyle when they start making $100,000. And that cannot be further from the truth. We see these people living their best life on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever. And a lot of times people don't realize that the lifestyle that they see people living online is generally not really what those people's lives are like. It's really funny that we have people that feel like they have to get online and talk about how great they're doing and how much money they can spend. And it's just all false. It's not true. But you have people out there that think that once you hit that $100,000 a year number, that your lifestyle automatically changes and you can live this lavish lifestyle, when in reality, the people that are living those lifestyles or proclaim to be living those lifestyles are making, anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 or more every single year. So the number one reason that most people don't think that making six figures a year, $100,000 is enough money to live a good lifestyle is because they believe that making $100,000 will afford them the lifestyle of someone that's making $300,000 to $500,000. Now, the second reason that making six figures or $100,000 a year doesn't seem like a lot of money is because once you start making that money, you start buying things, right? You have the buy now, pay later, Klarna. You'll go in and put money on store charge cards. Your whole life is tied up in credit. And whenever you get paid, you have to actually start paying off that debt. You have to pay at least the monthly minimum on the things that you've actually purchased that you don't even need. And that drains your account. So when you're talking $200 here, $100 there, by the end of the month, you're like, man, where did my money go? $100,000 a year really is not as much as I thought it was going to be. Well, of course it's not. If you've actually purchased away your life before you actually even made the money, and now you have to actually go back and pay that, that's going to cause you to never be able to enjoy the money that you're actually making. I often talk a lot about creating a budget. And if you're making $100,000, $300,000, $50,000, you need to have a budget in place because that's your guardrails. It's going to keep you in line and make sure that you're able to do the things that you want to do as well as the things that you need to do. The next reason why I believe that a lot of people that start making $100,000 a year don't think that it's a lot of money is because you enter into a whole new tax bracket. You're in a whole new ball game when you start making $100,000 a year, and the amount of taxes that you pay on your income jumps up, especially if you were used to making $50,000 or $60,000 a year. Your taxes are going to be much higher. And I think that there's a lot of people that don't understand and realize that. You were probably used to getting a tax return when you were making much less money. And now that you're making $100,000 a year, you may have to start paying taxes. I remember the very first time that I actually had to start paying taxes. It was an eye opener to me. Now, of course, I always paid taxes that came out of my paycheck, but I was used to getting a refund, January, February timeframe. And that all started to change when I had to start paying. So I had to really start focusing on a tax strategy that would help me to, maybe I wouldn't get a return, but I wouldn't have to pay. And I remember that very first tax check that I had to write was a couple $1,000s. It was an eye opener for me. And that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, I make six figures now. So this is what I have to expect. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot more on your plate financially when you start making that money. So when you start making $100,000 a year and you have to start paying out A, more in taxes, B, your medical, C, if you want to invest in a 401k or something like that, then you really start to realize that the 100,000 that you were making is really more like 75 or 80,000. And then on top of that, you've charged away your life with the buy now, pay later, the car payments, the store charge cards, and your whole life is credit. That's it. You have nothing else. And that's why a lot of people don't believe that making six figures a year is a lot of money. And then the next reason that I believe that most people don't think that making six figures a year is a lot of money is it's the hustle culture, right? When you start making six figures a year, you're working more. You're working more than you ever have in your life. Most companies that are going to pay you at least $100,000 a year or more are going to require you to work more than 40 hours a week. They're going to require you to work potentially on weekends. You may have to work on evenings. I know at my job, there may be times where I have to have conference calls with people in offices in other parts of the world. So I'm in the US. I may be on a conference call with someone in Australia, and I have to be on that conference call at 7:30 in the evening or 7 o'clock my time. And it will be around 10 a.m. the next day for them. So you're working more hours. You don't have as much free time because you're spending your time grinding. It's a hustle. You're trying to get after it. And I think that a lot of people can eventually either burn out or get jaded when they realize that, hey, I was working 40 hours a week before. I had more of a social life. I had more time with my family. And when you're making this kind of money, oftentimes you don't have that luxury anymore. And it's really going to be up to you on how you balance that, because some people might start making that money and realize like, hey, I can't live the lifestyle that I thought I was going to be able to live. And then on top of that, I don't have as much free time as I used to have. So it's really a mindset and a difference in how you're going to be living when you start making that kind of money. And then the next reason that I believe that most people don't think that it's a lot of money is because lifestyle creep has set in. We talked about that a little bit in the beginning of the video. You've got the cars, you bought the new house, you have the new clothes, you're going on more expensive vacations, and your bank account looks like it did before. Now, yeah, you may have more experiences than you had before. You might drive a little bit nicer car than you were able to have before. You might live in the better house, but your life really hasn't changed all that much. Your financial situation is not better than what it was before. You just have more things that you have to pay for. And what ends up happening, and this is one of the things that I tried to avoid my entire life, was acquiring things that would require me to stay in a job, a city, a town, a state that I didn't want to be in, because I couldn't leave because I was tied to the job, because that was the only way that I can keep and maintain that lifestyle that I thought that I wanted. That's one of the biggest reasons why I believe that most people don't think that making six figures a year is enough money. I mean, I've seen people say, hey man, if I'm paying $2,500 a month just in rent. That's crazy. And they'll say, well, that's just what it is. No, that's just where you choose to live. You chose that lifestyle. And now you want to complain that the money that you're making to pay for the things that you thought that you needed, but didn't really improve your life, actually cost you. Then that's really where the problem lies. I don't know. What do you guys think? I believe that making six figures a year, no matter where you live in the US or in the world, is more than enough money for you to do the things that you need to do and still have money to do some of the things that you want to do. But it all has to come with a balance. I really want to hear what you guys think. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe that six figures goes as far as it did 15, 20 years ago, and it doesn't. But I still believe that it's more than enough money to actually live a good life.